It all comes down to this for the 1UP Nitro National Series. 17 races down, 1 to go in the fight for the playoffs in 2024. And what better place to round things out for the regular season than here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. We are at the Michigan International Speedway for 45 laps of intense 3 and 4 wide high-speed racing action that can only be described as pure Michigan. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is Duke Anzac for today's race. Like I said, no better place to wrap it all up for the regular season and to set the remaining playoff drivers than right here at Michigan. Fast track, high action, what's not to like?
I know, it's really exciting. I mean, this is an incredibly fast track, like you've said. I mean, it's a sweeping 2-mile oval, D-shape front straightaway here at Michigan, so it's going to be a lot of fun. These cars are going to be absolutely flying around this place. It's going to be a lot of drafting. It's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing. It's going to be a lot of getting dive bombs into the corner based on a run that you can gather down the straightaway. That's going to be how people pass today. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and it's going to be high pressure for a bunch of drivers, pretty much from 8th through 18th in our point standings, undecided. Everybody's got a shot at making the playoffs, but only about 5 of them are going to make it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Some people are safer than others. Some people are a longer shot than others, but it's going to be a lot of fun to find out what happens. You can't have a problem today. You just can't afford it if you're in that range on our bubble between the cut line.
And with an overcast day scheduled for this race at Michigan, 45 laps on the cards today, these speeds are going to be a lot faster than we saw in practice and qualifying, so an early mistake could cost you a spot at a championship if you're not too careful. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 45 laps of racing action at Michigan. Jensen Noman has got to be feeling pretty good about his odds. He is right on that cut line. He is on pole for today's race by 3 1/1000ths of a second over hometown hero Ryan Griffin, who has locked up a playoff spot but is looking for a win at home. He starts second. James Ellison, pretty far back on the cut line. He entered today minus 20 on the cut line. He is looking for a big day today to boost himself back into the top 12. Ryan Reed, plus 39, just needs a solid day to boost himself into the playoff field in his rookie season. And his teammate Ryan Arnold, or actually, well, they have the same name, but they're not teammates, I should have clarified. But Ryan Arnold is plus 10 on the cut line to try and make his first playoff appearance. So there's a lot of guys at the front of the field looking for big points days, but there are also guys starting in the mid-pack that could really use some early advancements through the field.
Yeah, that's right. Some people that are possibly starting in some trouble today. Bronson Minnick, he's only plus 23 on the cut line. He is starting all the way back in 37th. That is going to be a very tall task to get up through, but he has that big cushion. Along with that, Elijah Ironhouse, the person that he's the one right above the cut line, plus 9 over Jensen Nomina starting on the pole, so that's going to be tough. Kanauka Stevenson starting in the mid-20s, so it is going to be tough for several of these drivers. They're going to have to make progress up through the field. All that means is they're going to be more aggressive, they're going to have to take more risks, and that means there's a higher chance that it's all going to come falling apart in bunch of smoke at the end of the race today. So we'll see what happens for everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun here at Michigan, and I'm excited to get it going.
So with that being said, we have 42 drivers ready to settle it out here at Michigan. We are ready to bring you that action. Stay tuned, because this is the 1UP Nitro National Series regular season finale at Michigan International Speedway. You're not going to want to miss this one, because 5 drivers are going to have their fate sealed, and the others are going to have to wait another year. This is it, folks. One last race to determine our championship field. It is Nomina and Griffin on the front row, leading us to the green flag, and it's in the air. We're underway at the Irish Hills of Michigan. Looks like a fairly even start, but Nomina's got that inside line advantage, although we already have a couple guys further back fanning out before we've even hit the first turn.
Yeah, so the inside lane is going to be really strong today, especially through the corners. It's just the shorter way around the track. But you're going to see that inside lane. It's going to be a little bit off of the yellow line that's down there. You want to get a little bit of that wideness through the corner, but look at that. Arnold down on the bottom going 3 wide for second place.
Yeah, he wants to waste no time getting to the front. He wants to get a bonus point, try and cement his position in the top 12. But off of turn 4, they're going to complete the first lap with Jensen Nomina out in the lead. He gets a bonus point. That is going to help him big time in his efforts to make the championship hunt, as Arnold and Ellison go side by side for the second place.
Yeah, Nomina desperately...
they're getting hooked back there. We got big trouble in the back. Eric Monaco involved. Kev Shearer, Austin Scott, and more piled into a big crash off of turn 2, and we're already under the caution flag.
I think that was the 53 after the fact, ended up in the wall as well. That is really, really tough for all of these drivers. Oh, yikes. I
think Kev Shearer had a steering arm broken. He had every opportunity to miss the 42. I don't think he can make the turn. That is going to put us under the caution flag with Jensen Nomina in the lead of the race. But that is heartbreak for a lot of guys in the upper midfield who are trying to make the postseason. I think I saw Robert Weaver involved in that as well. Eric Monaco's hopes are done. Looking further back, we'll see Jacob Pujols with a little bit of damage in the 30. Anthony McLaurin, the 54. There's Robert Weaver, and he entered today minus 16, and he is not going to make the top 12 this year.
No, that is just tough for those drivers. They were both below that cut line. They were needing a solid, better than solid day today, and some trouble for others to possibly make the playoffs, and trouble has struck early for those teams. That is going to be very difficult to come back from, if possible at all. I believe that their playoff hopes are over.
And it was over for them before it even had a chance to get started, as it looks as though James Ellison from third place pulling down pit lane early here, and we're getting word that he's reporting a possible flat tire on that 31, perhaps as a result of the debris flying off of the other cars as they pass through it on the caution. That is really going to hurt the 31. He needed a strong day today. Now he's going to line up at the back.
Yeah, that is brutal. He was minus 20 on the cut line going into this one, so yeah, he needed a good day. He was running up front, but now unfortunately he's going to have to spend this race recovering.
So you see this, Matt Johnson wisely backed out from making that a 5-wide situation. That could have been bad. But Aiden Clare, I think he just stuck his nose in where it didn't belong and sent all these cars up the track. And then I think Eric Monaco slid downward and caught the 42 of Meskey, the 09 of Blair, and a few others. You hate to see this early in the race, especially for these guys that were trying to have a good day, and it just all goes wrong before they even had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it was just too many cars, too many wide going into the corner. I mean, it was just tough for all of them to hold it together. They're such a high-speed situation. Hopefully everybody is all right after that, but yeah, definitely a big disappointment for a lot of drivers.
So here is Aiden Clare. Look at how dense this pack is right now. Going to our copter cam now. He was diving it off in between Scott and Weaver. Nowhere for them to go. And then 5 cars become about 7 or 8 into the wall. Monaco with a bit of a wild ride. David Meskey as well. You really got to feel for all these guys who are just minding their own business, and then one overeager move by Aiden Clare takes them all out.
Yeah, it's just it was just really interesting. I mean, that 00 just went down there and kind of just it was the slightest of contact, but it was just enough to send everybody up into the wall. That is just, like you said, not a lot you can do there. Really, everybody's aggressive. Everybody has to make things happen. I mean, that was the closest they were going to be to the positions ahead for the whole race. With the double file start of the race, even a restart won't bunch them up that much because of the fact that it's single file for the restart. So I don't know. I mean, I can't blame anybody for going so aggressive, trying to fight so hard for those positions, but at the same time, you've got the whole race ahead of you. You got to make it to the end to have a shot at winning at all. So it's tough to watch, and it's unfortunate for all those drivers, but hey, gonna move on, and there's still several races left in the season that you can go out and try to win.
And that takes 6 cars out of the race immediately before we even had a chance to get up to speed. And what that also does is it prevents Kev Shearer any hope of winning the regular season championship. He entered this race only 10 points behind Cody Goforth, but with this early DNF, that will end Shearer's hopes of the regular season title and the 15 points that go with it. So he's going to have a bit of a hole to dig himself out of, as Well, the rest of the field, they're lined up behind the pace car, whose lights should go out this time by, coming across the stripe, and survey says yes they do.
Right. So we'll go green next time by. Now for Kev Shearer, like you said, out of the possibility of having the regular season championship in hand, but Henry Thomas started this race 18 points behind Cody Goforth in third in that. So that's the new battle we can watch for. As far as the top of the standings are concerned, of course, all three of those drivers locked in, good to go, don't need to worry. It's a pressure-free day as far as if they can or can't make the playoffs in this one race alone. So good for them, and we'll see what Henry Thomas is able to do in comparison to Cody Goforth. But that Goforth machine at the top of the standings for good reason has been extremely fast all year, and we'll see if today is no different.
And the thing about the battle between Goforth and Thomas is they're both riding in the top 10 right now. Thomas in 6th position, Goforth, I believe, in 9th. We're going to wait for the scoring to update. Yes, he is in 9th place. While James Ellison, we talked about him, the unfortunate pit stop, he's going to restart back in 30th position. So he is going to have a lot of work to do to make his way back up to the front of the field. However, he does have a little bit more fuel in the tank than those around him. If we get a long green run and we have to make a green flag pit stop, he might try and stay out to get a bonus point, and that might save his season. Well, we're about to find out his fate. No, everyone else's. The pace car is ready to pull off.
Yeah, that crash didn't really help James Ellison as much as he may have hoped it would. He's still 20 back from the cut line behind Elijah Ironhouse, and the green flag is in the air.
And look at this top 3. They're all drivers looking to cement themselves into the playoffs as they run right now. And here comes Ryan Reed to the inside of Ryan Arnold. They're battling side by side for second, and it looks like Reed's going to get a little help from Ryan Griffin. It's a horde of Ryans trying to chase down Jensen Nomina for the top spot as we barrel down the back straightaway.
I haven't seen this many Ryans this far wide at Michigan before, I think, in my life. That's pretty impressive. They are 3 wide. Ryans on the top, bottom, and the middle right now coming out of turn 4.
But it's Ryan Arnold that loses out the most. He falls from 2nd to about 4th as Nomina holds on to lead the first green flag lap after the restart. But it's Ryan Reed who has cemented himself into the runners-up spot. Reed doesn't need a flashy day to make the playoffs. He just needs a solid one. But he's doing his best to have a solid day. But looking back now, there is James Ellison. He's gained 3 spots from the restart.
Okay, so James Ellison well on his way, staying out of trouble right now. Look at this in comparison to everybody else. Ellison is on a Sunday cruise. This group right here is absolutely crazy. They're 4 and 5 wide all the way around the track. Meanwhile, Ellison taking his time, minding his business, making sure he stays out of trouble. He knows he needs to finish this race at the bare minimum to have a shot at making it into the playoffs.
Well, he's going to need the top 5 to make this playoffs at the rate he's going, and he's currently riding in about 26. He needs a big boost to help himself up the order. Like Henry Thomas is getting. He's restarted back in 6th. He's now fighting Ryan Griffin for 3rd, and this is a guy who he doesn't really care about the regular season championship as much as he wants those bonus points. He wants to end a 5-year winless drought, and what better place to end it than by holding off some of one-up's best here at Michigan as Riley Hooper gets a little out of shape, and that's going to allow his teammate for today, Paul Villalobos, to fight past.
Yeah, Hooper and Griffin both got a little bit tight coming out of that corner. Arrow tight, sliding up out of turn 4, and it kind of stacked up that whole outside lane. So now Hooper going to the inside. Wow, he almost got into the 92 right there. But you talked about Henry Thomas in the 12. It has been incredible to watch that car not win a race this year because of how good he has been. I mean, I would almost call that car dominant this year because of how high in the standings he is and how he has been in contention for every single race, it seems. But no win, that's crazy. So we'll see going into the playoffs, that would be a massive momentum boost.
And look at Mac Johnson. He's using every bit of the racetrack and then some on the apron of the track as they enter turn 1, 4 wide. We're trying to see who backs out of this. Looks like Ryan Arnold is going to settle in line behind Cam Stevenson. He cannot afford a DNF today. He needs to just play it smart to try and fight his way up to the front. As Ben McDonald in the 24 this week for JHM Racing, his only ever start this season came at Daytona, ended in a crash, hoping for better today. And speaking of hoping for good things today, how about that blue and red 72 of Paul Villalobos? He's a Truck Series star, making his Nitro National debut, and he's making the most of it, currently running in 7th place.
Yeah, really, really solid run right there. And there's another guy that's entering the picture. It's Elijah Ironhouse, another one of our bubble drivers, somebody who was in the playoffs going into this race, but now is in a really tough spot, only +9 on the cut line going into the race. So he was right there on the bubble, and he needs a solid finish today to lock that up, especially over Jensen Nomina, who happens to be leading the race from the pole.
He's shooting the gap 4 wide up the middle, and he's going to try and clear 5 cars in one corner. He's done it.
Wow, that is impressive from this car. Man, oh man, I wouldn't be shocked to see this 72 car in the lead sooner than later in this race. This has been incredible to watch.
Yeah, Paul Villalobos, he's a short track guy. He's not known for the high speed Speedway success, and this is his first time in a 1-Up Nitro National car. But Roberts Racing sees the potential in him. They put him in. This is his only planned start of the season, and he's making the most of it, trying to chase down his fellow Chevy driver Henry Thomas.
They might need to give him some more starts in this car based on this performance alone. I mean, it's a fantastic run so far in this race. We'll see if he can keep it up. Right now running in the 3rd position. Meanwhile, Jensen Nomina has been out front for this entire time and has not shown any signs of weakness.
And another guy.
Oh, side for 2nd.
Yeah, it's Villalobos to the inside of Henry Thomas down the backstretch. And the Venezuelan doing a spectacular job of fighting his way past these drivers who he's never even raced before. And now he's pushed his way up to 2nd place. He's hoping the 12 gets a little aero tight, and he does. That's gonna. Ooh, that almost was tight between Reed and Thomas. But now Villalobos is clear for 2nd. He is going for the lead.
Wow, and this is an incredible thing to watch the 72 go down into turn 1, almost on the quarter panel of our leader, and it looks like he's going to come out of the corner side by side. This is incredible stuff.
And remember, Villalobos started this race in 17th. It's only taken him about 15 laps to get the lead of this race. So how about this rookie in the 72? He's getting a little help from Ryan Griffin up there. Nomina sends it in deep, but washes up the track. That could give the Venezuelan rookie all the momentum he needs to clear for the lead.
Yeah, you know, we've got a rookie leading the race right now, but a seasoned veteran chasing down right behind. Ryan Griffin still wants to have a shot at this one and is now to the inside. Nomina out of the way for the lead for now, and the 92 is challenging the 72.
And don't forget, this is a home game for Ryan Griffin and for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports. Wouldn't they love to get a victory here in front of their home crowd? And he's trying to make a move now on Villalobos, but here comes Ironhouse to the inside to try and challenge him for that spot. He gets on the flat of the track, has to back out.
Yeah, Ironhouse sees a little bit of weakness from the 62 of Jensen Nomina, and that's exactly what the driver of the 8 car needs to make the playoffs. So you don't want to be too risky, though. Went to the bottom there, got a little bit loose, had to back out, and you don't want to be caught out on this track because it's pretty easy to do so. And right now, you just need to stay consistent and stay in the race for Elijah Ironhouse, but he's going to pass 2 cars in turns 1 and 2, and now he's up to 2nd place.
And look at the run he is getting on Villalobos, the leader. You might have seen a car dropping down the order on our ticker a moment ago. That was Ryan Reed making an unscheduled pit stop in the 28. Boy. He is going to cycle out a lap down, but if we get another caution, he will be in the free pass position. I think he's just trying something contrarian here to try and get a win when he otherwise wouldn't be able to get one. But back at the battle for the lead. Here comes Ironhouse down the inside of Villalobos. Team Duke versus Roberts Racing for the race lead here at Michigan.
Yeah, to the inside for Elijah Ironhouse right now. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Everybody behind them is also side by side, but they're getting a big push from behind. So we'll see all those cars in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all of them that far back. They're going to start gaining on these two if they don't single file out, and it looks like they will coming out of the corner. Ironhouse on point.
How about Elijah Ironhouse? His last win in the series came back at Phoenix last season, so he's looking for his first win of the year, and wouldn't it be great if it came in the regular season finale for him? And he's got a teammate on his way up through the field in that 0 car, Braden Varga. He's already locked in to the playoffs in his first season in the Nitro National Series. He wants his 2nd win of the season to join the one he got at Circuit of the Americas. But right now he is battling Ryan Griffin and losing that battle for the 3rd position as you got Riley Hooper, Nomina, Arnold, Goforth, and Ben McDonald all in the hunt.
Yeah, this is an incredible battle that we've had throughout this race, and in these laps. It's interesting how a lot of these drivers, I mean, Villalobos started 17th, Elijah Ironhouse started in 18th, Braden Vargas started in 20th, and they're all running right towards the front now. So it's really interesting to see how some of those drivers have kind of methodically worked up through the field, and now they are up towards the front.
Yeah, here is Ryan Reed, by the way. And Bronson Minnick as well on pit road. This is going to be tight for that 32. He needs this race to stay green the entire rest of the way if he's going to have any hope of making something out of this. Him and the 28 both. The difference between them, though, is Ryan Reed had a better cushion over the cut line than the 32, and he's already making passes to make up for it. 32 still getting up to speed. I'm curious to see if that pays off. Meanwhile, James Ellison has made no progress on the front of the field. He is still mired in the 20s.
You know, I'll tell you what, I'm not so sure about that strategy. Can't talk about strategy for long with racing like this, but those two cars, I think that I would have expected a strategy like that from cars that were outside. Somebody like a James Ellison, somebody like a Cam Stevenson, but from those two, with the plus that they had going into this race, plus 39 and plus 23, I'm just not sure that's a very wise strategy. This racing is way too intense to expect this race to go green all the way. We've already seen a crash in this one. We're probably going to see more. They are side by side and three wide all the way around at times, so this is just going to be interesting to see if that play pays off or not. I'm just not sure if it will.
I want to give a couple shout-outs to a couple Fords back there making some headway right behind the battle between McDonald and Thomas. Mac Johnson started this race back in 21st. He's not in the mix for the playoffs as they go
right here.
Oh, this is going to be really tight. 3 and 4 wide ahead of Mac Johnson, but they settle it amongst themselves. Johnson started 21st. He's now right outside the top 10. And Cam Stevenson turned up the wick in the last few races of the regular season. He won at Kansas. He's running just outside the top 10 now. He could be a dark horse to make the postseason.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Reed, we see just catching the back of the field right now. So that's fascinating to see how that's going to play out. But you're right. Cam Stevenson has been absolutely stellar in the last few, and we're watching him possibly give himself a shot at making the playoffs. We'll see how it all plays out. But we saw in the middle of this whole group as they start to string out up front, that potential, that high potential that we have in this race for a possible caution. And they, you know, just people running on the apron, people running side by side, making contact in the middle of the corner. It's happening every single lap, and we got smoke now.
And we do have that caution. We do have a caution on the Speedway. It's our second of the day. Looks as though I think Nicky Martinez and Mike Edwards are the two cars involved in this one. Not playoff hopefuls, but still unfortunate to see there. That is really going to bite Ryan Reed and Bronson Minnick. It might not be bad for the 28 because he is going to get the free pass. We can also report Aiden Smith fell out of the race a few laps ago with a mechanical failure, but this is really going to hurt Bronson Minnick, who is going to be trapped a lap down unless he stays out here.
Yeah, that is going to be very, very tough because, yeah, that's just the wrong. I mean, the strategy was for the race to stay green. I just am not sure if that was ever going to happen. So now going to have to stay out here, be on the opposite side of the strategy that you want to be.
And they're the only two staying out there. So everybody else coming to pit road.
Yeah, they'll have fresh tires. We saw Ryan Reed was faster with the newer tires. But that just means that all these guys are now going to have faster cars than those two going for the rest of the race. So we'll see how that plays out for them. I'm just not sure if that was a wise decision.
The one guy that this is going to bite as well is James Ellison in the 31. He had a few laps fresher tires than everybody else. Now he is going to be on the same strategy as everyone else. The difference is now he is going to be mired in 25th. So that's going to be and it looks like he has some left side damage on that car as well. So that's a double whammy for the 31 team. So this is where Edwards and Martinez were running. They were right at the tail end of the field anyway. Oh, yeah, that doesn't look good for those guys.
Oh, Ellison was involved.
Yeah, he got a little side swipe from the 47, perhaps. But looks as even though the 60 and the 47, they are probably going to be able to stay in the race, as is the 31. That's just not what these guys were hoping for at all in this race, especially the 31, who needed a good day today. So right here, we're getting another look at this. And Martinez, I think Edwards slowed more than the 47 was anticipating. Oh man, Nathan Meyer, after that penalty last week, almost got caught up in another one. Of course, this one wasn't his doing, but still, that would have been bad for the 77. But he did manage to sneak through. But the 47 and the 60, not so lucky.
It was a racing incident there, so that's hey, you know, what are you going to do? At this point in the race, you got to be racing hard, and they were racing hard for a position of their own towards the back of the pack. So that's just the way it is here at Michigan. A lot of speed, a lot of closing rate.
So this is actually going to be a bit of a benefit for both Bronson Minnick and Ryan Reed. They will both get their laps back on account of Reed getting the free pass and Minnick staying on the racetrack and taking a wave around. But they're going to have to catch the field in a pretty big hurry because the lights are out on the pace car, and Reed just now passed the leaders.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they are able to get back. I expect them to. The leaders are rolling through turn 2 right now, and Reed is at full speed around this place, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, single file restart. Elijah Ironhouse got out first with a teammate right behind. So here's an interesting dynamic. That's Braden Varga in the 0 car, teammate to Elijah Ironhouse, already locked in to the postseason we have here. So the 0 car might be able to help do a little bit of blocking for Elijah Ironhouse, and certainly they'll be able to work together a little bit to make sure that other Team Duke car can make it into the playoffs.
And as of right now, I believe Jensen Nomina has the bonus point for leading the most laps, but if Ironhouse can snatch that away, that could be a big shift in the power here.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, those two were on either side of the cut line going into today, so any change would be important. And look, there's Nomina right back there in 4th. If he can snatch the lead back, this could be a wide open battle. And let's not forget Ben McDonald. He's not here for points. He's here to win a race. And he's doing a very good job in 3rd place, making his 2nd start of the season as we're getting ready for the restart, which will come out lap 28.
Yeah, Ironhouse has to be careful because you're in a precarious points position, whereas Nomina has everything to gain, nothing to lose. We'll see what happens. The green flag is back out at Michigan.
And so far, it looks pretty neat and tidy. Villalobos and Kanalka trying to go side by side in the 1. So far, Ironhouse is solidly out front, but it looks like his teammate is trying to take the lead immediately. He does not want to waste any time.
Yeah, no team orders. I guess I am the one that would give them, and I certainly didn't. So they are side by side for the lead. No help from Braden Varga. That's all right. Elijah Ironhouse is going to have to do it.
Whoa, they almost
on
made
his
contact.
own. Hopefully they don't wreck each other.
Fishtailing through the corner was Braden Varga, but he comes out of turn 4 with the lead in hand, and he is going to be well out in front of the field by the time they get back to the start-finish line. Give the 0 the lead, and I saw it looks like Wide O'Quinn coming down pit road with an issue of his own.
Boy, and they were nearly 4 wide for the 2nd position, and Ironhouse is struggling on the outside lane. He hasn't been very good on the short run today. We saw that long run speed from the 8 car. He came all the way from 18th up to 1st after that first yellow, but now he is struggling a little bit. He needs to stay up there, though, to have a shot at making the playoffs.
And look at all these cars. They're just they're weaving their way through traffic like it was standing still. But now, look at Goforth. He's up into the 2nd position now past Ironhouse. They're 3 wide for 3rd. Can Goforth try and cement a regular season title with a win here today?
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Goforth definitely is wanting to stay up front. Not under a lot of challenge here. And look at this. Coming out of the pits.
Yeah, that's Wide O'Quinn, who I mentioned had an issue. He came down pit road lap after the restart. He is going to be right on the tail end of the lead lap. I am curious if this pack ends up catching him by the end of this race, as we now come to 15 laps to go.
Yeah, that's interesting. If they do, that could pose a challenge because that car is going to be on better tires than the pack, but going slower because of the lack of the draft. Goforth going to the bottom of Braden Varga. Not going to happen this time.
And that's going to open the door. Nomina tries to shut the door on McDonald for 3rd. But McDonald swings low, trying to cross him over down into turn 3. Varga leads Goforth. Then the side-by-side Hondas of McDonald and Nomina. Ironhouse lurking back there in 5th place. Villalobos still having a very strong day. And actually, he's just passed Ironhouse for the 5th position. As it looks like McDonald's going to get freight trained past by Nomina, and now the 62 dives to the inside of Goforth. We've got a great battle for the win here. This is far from over.
Yeah, Nomina is still trying to protect that most laps led bonus point, so trying to get that lead away from Varga. Varga won't have any advantage from gaining that other than taking the point away from Jensen Nomina, so that 62 car definitely desperate to get back out front or get somebody else back out front. That car needs some help to try to make the playoffs today.
I'm still so impressed by the work of Paul Villalobos in this race. That 72 started outside the top 15. He is now racing for the win in his first Nitro National Series start. Impressive stuff, and now he's going to try and stick it up the middle of Goforth and McDonald. That is incredible stuff from the Truck Series regular. Remember, he's racing for a Truck Series championship. That race, of course, already happened, but he's still trying to prove his worth to Roberts Racing, saying, I deserve this Nitro National seat full-time next year, and he is doing everything in his power to prove his worth today.
Wow, and Nomina got a little bit arrow tight coming up out of the corner. You got to be careful. I know it's intense. It's up there. You're racing for the win of this race, but you need to be careful because, a second or a third place might be good enough today to make it into the playoffs, and then that's acceptable. It's the one day where it's acceptable to just get yourself a top 3 finish. Don't wreck the car, and we'll see if they can make it to the end. It has been so tight, so intense at the front of the field all day today. It's been crazy.
And we've got some new challengers. Riley Hooper trying to help his teammate Villalobos. It's going to go side by side now. Brian Arnold's coming back into the picture now in that green 10 car. Cam Stevenson, still an outside shot at making the playoffs himself in that 98, trying to stick it under Elijah Ironhouse. But look at the pack behind Braden Varga. They are all over each other. You can throw a blanket from second back to about 10th.
Wow, they are 3 wide. So Varga has a really unique opportunity here where he's got the draft of car that has been a little bit slower than them, but not slow enough to just get blown by. So he's going to have a little bit of a draft going down the straightaways while everybody behind him is 3 wide, 2 and 3 wide. Well, now Nomina is completely through that and gaining time. But Varga had the opportunity there. If he had gotten ahead of that 38 car, he could get that buffer car, and that would really be a big advantage in this race coming in the closing laps. So we'll see what that 0 car is able to do with the lap car just ahead.
10 laps to go, and I think these guys are starting to realize that it is time to focus because they're going single file. Yep. Not for much longer, though, because here comes Nomina down the inside of Braden Varga. Will Ben McDonald try and help his fellow Honda, or will he try and help the Chevrolet that he normally drives in the Superstar Series? Looks like he's going to go with Varga on the top, but that's not going to do him much good because Jensen Nomina back to the point as we take 9 laps to go.
Yeah, Varga just carried no momentum out of the corner right there. I think he was in the dirty air from the 38. So
look at McDonald. He's sticking it 3 wide up the middle. Is he going to try and get the lead himself here as we head down the backstretch?
Wow, he punched it in there and then just had to back out. There wasn't enough room for him. But I was going to say, everybody is suffering through the corner behind that 38 car, putting dirty air out, less downforce in the corner is less grip, and there's a little bit of contact, not a lot of grip for the 24 at all.
And Nomina went high. That lets Varga back to the inside. This race far from over. We're in the final 10 laps. Any of these top 7 cars has a chance to win this race, maybe even further back than that.
This is incredible. The leader has had an advantage all day today, and now no longer is there an advantage to be the leader of this race because of the dirty air behind that 38 car. This is incredible. They're side by side again for the lead.
Look at this. Varga looking for career win number 2. Ben McDonald looking for his first lower series win of any kind. He sends it off in the turn 3. Varga's going to push it up the track. That's going to open the door for the 24. Through goes McDonald to the lead as we come to 7 to go.
Wow, and Varga is really going to suffer for that corner. He's going to drop several positions. It looks like no help on the outside lane for Braden Varga, and now the 24 is going to try to get past the 38 with a little bit of a gap back to the second position. He's got an opportunity to do it, and he's going to really get a huge advantage if he can get ahead of that lap car right now.
And he's trying to side draft off the 38, trying to make his job a little easier. And now he's put the 38 in a position he doesn't want to be. Look at him push up the track a little bit. That is going to open the door for McDonald to fight his way through. And he does. He puts the 38 a lap down. That's a buffer between himself and Nomina. Exactly what Ben McDonald wants as we have 6 to go.
Yeah, but Nomina's going to get through on the same straightaway, it looks like, or at least in the next corner. Oh, maybe not. I'm not sure,
Oh
actually,
man,
anymore.
Griffin and Varga leaning on each other for 4th spot. This is incredible, and there's still an opportunity for more to happen. This is what we love about Nitro National Series racing, and this is why these fans have not left their seats all day. And now we're coming to 5 laps to go, and it's anybody's guess who will complete the podium places.
Yeah, well, the fans certainly haven't left the grandstands, but I'm not sure any of them have been using the seats. You might as well not even have them. Everybody is on their feet here at Michigan International Speedway for one of the greatest races we have seen. This has been incredible, and right now, this 24 car is well ahead because of that buffer car in O'Quinn right there in the running in the 2nd spot, not in the 2nd spot, a lap down, and Nomina has been trying to pass for a couple laps and just can't get it done.
Look at this pack, though. There is so much happening behind the leaders. You got Villalobos still in the hunt for a podium in his series debut. Ryan Griffin looking for a podium in his home race. Ryan Arnold trying to make the playoffs for the first time. Ironhouse trying to make the playoffs. You got Braden Varga already locked in. Goforth looking for a regular season title. He's got a firm hand on that, with Henry Thomas not even close to contesting that.
Yeah, and right now, this is where it gets really critical because everybody is extremely aggressive at this point in the race. And if you are one of those drivers that's on the cut line or in the bubble, you need to be careful. There's drivers up here like the driver of the 72, the driver of the 92, where they've got nothing to lose. They're going to go all out to try to get this, but you need to stay on the track and finish this race in the top 10 to give yourself a shot. There's only a few laps to go in this one. You made it this far, and it is going to get crazier in the last couple.
Could this be the 3 laps that settles the regular season here at Michigan? Ben McDonald only 2.5 laps away from his first Nitro National Series win. Down the backstretch they go. They're snaking their way down the backstretch, side by side, 3 rows deep, further back in the pack. But McDonald has a massive lead out front, and he's coming to 2 laps to go. Can Villalobos, though, hang on to a podium in his first career start?
Yeah, this is interesting right now because the 24 got a big advantage over everybody while O'Quinn was going a lap down. Now, O'Quinn is part of this battle and not really impacting the 4 leaders that we have. So the 24, that big advantage, it's starting to shrink, but I'm just not sure it's fast enough. Jensen Nomina has absolutely no help from behind, so it's all draft down the straightaways for that 62 car to try to catch up.
And I think the podium's starting to slip away from Villalobos. He gets really loose through the corner, and Goforth there to pounce. Griffin's already through, but we're coming to the white flag. It's still anybody's guess who's going to complete the podium, but it looks like it's going to be a battle between the 2 Hondas of McDonald and Nomina for the win. White flag in the air.
Yeah, one more lap for Jensen Nomina, and look at this. We got a couple cars on the pit lane.
Including Minnick. His hopes are starting to fade as well in the 32.
Oh boy, so this is all falling apart for several drivers on the final lap here. They're 3 wide with Wyatt O'Quinn, the lapper, and that is a battle for the 4th position. And it looks like the 24 has got this one in the bag as long as he can complete the last 2 corners.
So this was a last-minute deal for Jake McMillan to put Ben McDonald behind the wheel of this 24 car. It's sure going to pay off for him now because Ben McDonald, for the first time, is going to be a winner in the Nitro National Series. He wins the regular season finale at Michigan. First career win for him. And Jensen Nomina, through his 2nd place finish, is going to leapfrog his way from 13th to 10th in the points. That is going to be enough for him to make it a playoffs in his rookie season. And Ryan Griffin completes the podium in his home race. A great day for the 92. He was already locked in beforehand, as was Logan Williams. We didn't mention him all day, and he snuck his way through to get a top 5 ahead of Paul Villalobos, who, it still has to be said, excellent drive for the rookie in his first career start. And then you got all 3 of the Ferranco cars back there. Goforth and Arnold, we were there all day, but Skylar Taylor, we didn't see it all throughout the race. He is now completes in the running order for that team. He is 8th, Ironhouse 9th, Earl Sear 10th. They both make the playoffs as well. And for James Ellison, he had to make a pit stop on the final lap of the race. That is what put the nail in the coffin for his championship hopes this year.
Such a huge disappointment for James Ellison. I mean, had the biggest opportunity ever, started this race in the 3rd position, and is now on the outside looking into the playoffs. That is so tough.
Yeah, but Ryan Arnold's in for the first time in his career. He gets to celebrate that. Skylar Taylor didn't really have a chance, but that's still his 5th top 10 of the year, and that team was on the verge of falling out of the top 30 in owners' points. So a strong run, well needed for that team. And Ryan Reed was able to hang on to a playoff spot. He snuck his way in at the very end. And Bronson Minnick is the one that loses out because Jensen Nomina leaped his way in. 32 out, 62 in, and that is your field of 12.
Wow, an incredible race that was some of the most fantastic racing I think I've ever seen at Michigan. Just an incredible race, side by side, 3 wide, 4 wide, all over this track, drafting, high speed, comers, goers. Nobody really dominated this race. I think that it was just whoever was out front had a bit of an advantage, but really at the end there, the 24 car was very, very fast, and I think that everybody gave it their all today, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So
this was James Ellison then coming to the white flag. He wasn't going to make the playoffs anyway from the position he was in, down in about 25th place. But the team saw something on that car that was just not to their liking. Maybe a slow leak on a tire. Maybe the fuel situation wasn't to their liking. Either way, they felt the need to bring the 31 down pit road, and that just adds insult to injury for his season.
Yeah, that's just a tough day for that 31 car. Unfortunately, needed a really, really solid day today. Came into the race 20 points out, and eventually just wasn't able to make up any of those positions that were needed after a tough first caution pit stop. No recovery in sight for that 31, but now go into the rest of the season, and maybe you could get yourself a couple wins.
And we'll definitely remember his win at New Jersey Motorsports Park. That was a highlight of his season, I'm sure. But that is going to do it for the regular season. And if you thought this was exciting, wait till you see where we start the playoffs next week. The high banks of the feared Talladega Super Speedway. That is going to be an incredible race for all these guys. I'm sure the playoff drivers would have hated to start the playoffs there, but that's where we're going next. So we're looking forward to seeing that. So from Duke Ansack and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Michigan. Congrats to Ben McDonald on the win, and congrats to all 12 of our playoff drivers. The field is set, we're ready to go, and we'll see you again next week at Big Bad Talladega.